Guys, welcome to the program. Before we even get started, let's check in with the ladies and see how they're doing.
I'm here. I'm here. And I know you're scared. I know you don't know what to do.
That girl said her spit on that thing. That's boring. I'm farting on it. Exactly. Speak to him, Toothless. I'm farting on it.
Would you date a guy that makes $75K a year?
That's so cute. No.
Gen Z boss and a mini. Gen Z boss and a mini. Itty bitty titties and a bob. Itty bitty titties and a bob. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude.
What is 88 plus 22?
No, not this again. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 75?
75.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. But how the hell did she get 75?
Guys, welcome. This is one of the things that I often get asked, especially when I do content like this, is people will say, why do you hate women? It's not that we hate women, and you guys know this as well as I do. It's just right now they're really struggling in just about every aspect of life, and they've become virtually undateable because all the issues that they've had throughout history, they normally kept on the down low. If she was a greedy woman, she kept it to herself. If she was a woman that was likely to cheat, she'd keep it to herself. But this generation is so enamored with social media that they feel they need to come out and brag about all their worst qualities. And it's never made it easier in the history of mankind to know what a woman's thinking because they're coming right out and telling you how awful they are. Now, I will give the usual prerequisite. This doesn't mean all women. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people, but there's a whole lot of them, especially the younger generations and the ones in the dating age that are outing themselves as not such great people. I have a ton of articles. I have a ton of videos to go through today. This will probably be a long one, so sit back, relax. We'll have a little bit of fun. So we're going to start right off the top. If you guys, in that little intro that I did, the girl that was, let me grab that image real quick, or that video real quick. The video in question is this one. Let me just drop it here into my browser. This is what a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This girl wants to be, I don't know, the next Hawk Tuah girl, the next girl going viral for saying something completely gross in public. I'm going to play this again, and then we're specifically going to talk about her and Hawk Tuah girl to start up this whole mess.
That girl said her spit on that thing. That's boring. I'm farting on it. Exactly. Speak to him, Toothless. I'm farting on it. That girl said her...
I saw this... I saw this video and I said, that's it. I'm off the internet forever. I'm done. I'm off because I actually paused the video, and when she made that spitting noise, you can see there's white spittle on her lip. She spit on her own dashboard and her own windshield to make this video. And this just encapsulates everything with women today in this one video, because social media has engineered and designed them that if the worse they are and the more gross they are, the more they want to go viral and get attention. And that's what this girl's doing. And I continued on my work of looking for things to talk about today. And then this from Rolling Stone, which is fiendishly left-wing, says, we had breakfast with the Hawk Tuah girl, the national hero we need. We live in such a clown world right now. She went viral for a sex joke, but Haley Welsh is much more a charming Gen Z Dolly Parton who's rightfully becoming America's sweetheart. That's right, Hawk Tuah girl. And if you guys don't know Hawk Tuah, I'll dig up a video and post it here, because you've been living in a cave apparently for the last, I don't know, a month or so.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hawk Tuah, spit on it. Spit on it.
But now and I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but she got hired to judge a bikini competition and she got paid $30,000 for it. Now, you can say men are the ones enabling this stuff, and I really can't argue with you because I don't know, but it doesn't seem that really it's guys that are that are into this thing. It just, where are we? I'm so confused by this generation of women. I'm not even going to read down through this because we'd all lose brain cells in extremely quick fashion. From Fox News, Gen Z is shaping itself into the wasted generation. They're quiet quitters. They're doing the bare minimum. They don't want to work. And yes, you can say, well, that's guys too. But all the videos are of women. It's all the women, the entitled ones that are my day in the life of like Facebook, and they show themselves eating food all day, getting fat.
Here's a day in the life working at Google as an account strategist in LA. As soon as I walked in, I grabbed my breakfast for today, which is going to be this iced coffee and a banana. Then I decided to walk over to the nap room, which yes, Google has nap rooms. I got back to work for a few more hours and then decided to walk over to lunch. Yes, all of these snacks and drinks and food are free, which is amazing. And then after work, we had a team dinner, so we just headed over to this Mexican restaurant down the street. The drinks and the food were 10 out of 10. And that's it for today, so follow for more.
Living the lavish lifestyle while doing zero work, this and putting it on social media. Now, of course, they've all been fired, but the point is they're bragging about doing nothing, and these companies are paying for it. So maybe we can say we just live in the worst generation in history, and we're all part of it, because the entitlement of people today is just off the graphs at this point. I don't know what to say, but I can tell you right now, the women, at least when it comes to that. Now, maybe the guys are just as undateable. I don't know, but because I don't see them being shared on the internet, being idiots nearly to the same level the women are. So here's a good list for you guys, and I'm going to go down through some data points and some video. Here are the reasons why these modern women and this generation is the worst in history to try to date. Currently, most young women are overweight. During my extensive travels of the world, when I was in Southeast Asia, when I was in Eastern Europe, like in Ukraine, along the border of Russia, Romania, some of these other countries, they were svelte, they were petite, they were thin, they were attractive. They put on makeup when they were anywhere in public. They looked beautiful, like they actually cared about their beauty. But now today, women are overweight. They're told it's big and beautiful to be overweight. And maybe you're the one of the guys that says, hey, I'm a bit of a chubby chaser. I like bigger girls. That's fine, but they're not carrying it where guys like, which is the hips and the ass and the chest. Instead, they're carrying it on their gut, and they have the very alluring, attractive shape of an apple. And I went and looked for the average weight for women. And from data as of 2018, the average weight of women was 100, where is it? From the CDC. At 20 years old, the average weight was 170.8 pounds. And that's at 5 foot 4 inches tall. Oh, and here's a good example, right? In Asia, considered having overweight percentage, 24%. In North America, 73%. In Oceania, 63%. I don't see any updated information. So, you know, this being from, what they say, 2018, how much things have gotten in the last 6 years. You know it's really, really bad in the last 6 years. So women they're not dressing up. They're not taking care of themselves. They're covered in tattoos. They're overweight. They come out in sweatpants or yoga pants and a sweatshirt instead of dressing, pretty like they used to in all the other generations. You can even see in this photo, which is a completely different story, she's got her arms covered in all strange tattoos, and a lot of guys aren't into that. Number 2, this generation of women have horrible attitudes, and they have a drinking problem. And it's not just to the point of, I like to have a couple out when I'm about on town. It's that some of them are actively drinking bottles of wine in the evening. This from NPR, women now drink as much as men, not so much for pleasure, but to cope. If you're with a woman that's got to drink all the time, that's problematic. They say for nearly a century, women have been closing the gap in alcohol consumption, binge drinking, and alcohol use disorder. What was previously a 3-to-1 ratio for risky drinking habits in men versus women is now closer to 1-to-1 globally. A 2016 analysis of several dozen studies suggested. And the latest U.S. data from 2019 shows that women in their teens and early 20s reported drinking and getting drunk at higher rates than their male peers, in some cases for the first time since researchers began measuring such behavior. The trend parallels the rise in mental health concerns around young women, and researchers worry that the long-term effects of et cetera, et cetera. So women are not doing well, which I've talked about in other videos. Women are having more mental issues than ever, which also doesn't bode well for dating. Women are drinking more than ever to deal with those things, self-medicating. That's not doing well. And as guys, there's a lot of guys out there that aren't into that, and women are exponentially measuring up to men and even surpassing them in the youngest generation. This is a problem. And I don't know too many men that want to date women like that. Then on top of that, you can hear women, and this is a video I have from a gal that put in her applications. She put her applications in for a bunch of jobs, and she didn't get any applications. But I want you to hear what she thinks the criteria is for getting her resume selected. That's the part that blew me away about this whole thing. Take a listen.
I don't know, it would be nice to get like one email back that's like, we loved your resume. We loved the font you picked. The color scheme, gorge. Hello. Anyway, so if you're hiring right now, I make a good scramble, and I'm getting my master's in business.
Master's in business, and she said, why don't they contact me because they're like, the font and the color is gorgeous? They have no idea. No idea. And this is why they're stressing out. This is why they can't cope. And she's putting it on social media. What good does that do in getting her a job? Zero. It's all for validation. Another problem that we're having is that women of this generation no longer look to men to be providers. They deem men as offering nothing necessary. They'd rather have fun with guys and like a toy and discard them, which, you know, for a lot of guys, that's fine. But for a lot of men that would like a girlfriend and a serious relationship and something traditional, forget about it.
Me out. The amount of chronically single girlfriends that I know, either approaching their 30s or already in their 30s, that are like wanting to settle down and have a family, but can't, is an epidemic at this point. And we're talking about women that are financially stable, have educations, are beautiful, have their fathers in their lives, like come from nice families. So I'll have conversations with my friends, and they'll say things like, oh, like, you know, I want him to make like at least $200,000 a year, like at minimum. He has to be in shape. Like, I really like a guy with a six-pack. I love a guy who's like 6'2". I need a guy with like a full head of hair. Like, I can't do bald guys. Every single time you throw a new specification into what you desire, the only person that fits within the parameters of what you are looking for exists in your dreams. No, I've had girlfriends tell me like, oh my God, no, he's great, this and that, like, but I can't do a short king. So you're telling me you found a guy that's like not bad looking, has a great job with benefits, like financially stable, comes from a great family, and you can't do it because his legs aren't long enough? Like, you bitches are out of your minds.
They're selfish. They only want pleasures in life, and they're avoiding marriage and having fewer children. From CNN, why more women are choosing not to have kids. And they go down through here, and they say women basically, they want to be child-free. They're worried about the environment. Doomers, basically. And they say, she says, even here in this interview, not having children gives this woman a sense of freedom that her friends who aren't parents don't have, or who are parents don't have. Now that they've got the jab, she and her husband have been able to eat at restaurants, attend concerts, and travel without worrying about risking the kid. They can work toward retiring early, a goal that would otherwise be unattainable in a city as expensive as theirs. In their day-to-day life, they have plenty of time for themselves. Volek is one of a growing number of women in the U.S. who are opting to live a child-free lifestyle, part of the trend that has been underway for more than a decade. Now, you can say men like myself, well, you don't have any kids. A lot of us guys don't have any kids. What's the difference? I bet if I did a poll right now and said, fellas, if you could find a woman that wouldn't cheat on you, wouldn't divorce you and take half your stuff, that would be supportive, maybe be a stay-at-home mom with the understanding you're not going to live a lavish lifestyle, and she would maybe educate your kids in the home and raise and have a good family and cook for you, and you would just do the 9 to 5 and come home and have a little house on a hill with a picket fence, would you have kids and have a family? I don't know of too many men that would say no. The vast majority of them would say like, yeah, I'm kind of all in on that. So you guys would like the family. It's other external forces that are keeping you from having it. Where most women are saying no. As a matter of fact, there was a woman that worked for Porsche. She was an executive. I don't have the story pulled up. She was an executive, but you can look it up. Executive at Porsche hid the fact that she was with child. And after she had it, she threw it outside of the window. Like threw it away because she was worried it would interfere with her career at Porsche. These women have shunned marriage. Here's another story I have regarding that too. Why are women opting out of marriage around the world? Because feminism has gone around the world and getting women into the workforce. Women would rather, if a woman was to stay home and work around the house and do things for her family, she's told that she's being repressed because she's working for the man that loves her. But if she goes into the work world and makes her own money and works for a boss that likely hates her, then somehow that's empowering because she has her own money. But they're not doing well. They're not doing well with it. News headlines such as why more women are choosing to stay single now, craving freedom, Japan's women opt out of marriage, nearly half of Canadians feel marriage is simply not necessary, and Chileans are marrying less and later, would make it seem marriage is at risk of survival all around the world. The numbers back up that assertion. In the United States, the median age of first marriage has risen from a 1956 low of 20% for women and age. Median age of marriage was 20 for women, 22 for men, to now 27 for women and 29 for men. Women are waiting close to almost 30 to get married, and that puts them on risk of not even being able to have kids. I think one statistic, and you'll have to fact check me on this because I'm just trying to remember this off the top of my head, but something like at the age of 30 or 35, somewhere around there, women have 90% less eggs and ability to have children than they did at 20 or whatever the number was. This is part of the reason things are falling off a cliff. So we're not doing it well. And then when you look at like these women, this is a medical clinic. Women are more concerned about poisoning their body with Botox, and you can look it up. It is, I think it's a bacterial strain or something, but it's meant to basically paralyze the muscles and the muscles in your face so that your muscles relax completely and you kind of get this frozen face where you can't move it. And the wrinkles will disappear within a week or two because your skin, there's no muscles moving it anymore. And then you can exfoliate and scrub your skin. And as it kind of regenerates new tissue, I'm sure I'm getting this somewhat wrong. There's probably doctors that can explain it to me. But your face will smooth out. That's what these Hollywood celebrities are doing that makes their faces look so weird. And then they're getting these lip injections and they look horrible. Listen to the number of jabs these women take, poisoning themselves. And there's no wonder that women can look good in a photograph and you say, wow, she's still pretty good looking. Then you meet them in person and they look horrible. They're not doing what's healthy and what's good for them. They're chasing vanity and materialism.
Emma, how old are you?
22.
How many units of Botox do you have?
32.
Joe.
22 years old and she's got, what did she say, 32 units? See, you look at this photo of this woman. For me, it looks like the uncanny valley, where you look at them and you go, they don't quite look human. She looks like she's got doll eyes to me. It's just, for me, it makes me a little uncomfortable looking at her because it doesn't look natural and human.
Cody, how old are you?
55.
55 years old, not a wrinkle on her face. How much poison in her face did it take her to get that way?
How many units of Botox do you have?
64.
64. Now, I'm going to fast forward through the rest. This woman had 100 and something, I think she said. I'll just listen to that one. Then there's one last one I want you to hear.
Lauren, how old are you?
24.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
I have 104. I have
24, and she has 104 units. Now, I don't know if that's individual, but that's a lot of units for 24 years old. And if you were to ask me, like, how old she looks, I would have guessed, like, probably, I don't know, maybe in her early 30s. She doesn't look any better because of it. This is the craziest one, though, I wanted to show you. Is right here. This one right here. How old do you think this gal is? Because this is not a good look. Let's be honest with it. She's got the lip injection. She's got the forehead's all back and everything else. Listen to her age and how much she's already had done at this age.
Devaney, how old are you?
23.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
60.
23, and she's had 60 units of crap just put in her face. They chase vanity, they chase youth, they chase beauty, and it's not so they can find the man of their dreams. It's not so they can become try to get the best man that's the most attractive and has the most money, because she doesn't have an engagement ring on. It's to stay youthful and beauty so they can chase narcissism and materialistic things and have all the fun with the guys at the clubs. It's just unbelievable. And when we talk about, women they're not looking for providers and men. They're not being traditional. They're not offering anything, or they don't need the man to offer anything other than being a playboy and a little bit of fun, and then they move on. This woman put together a skit, and I think it pretty accurately explains everything we're talking about when a woman says, well, why can't I find a guy? Why can't I find a man? And I want a traditional man. But all the things a traditional man offers, women don't want in reality, because they would have to let the man lead, and they can't do that because of feminism and pride. This is about a minute long, but she explains it very well, the dichotomy of their belief system.
Why is it so hard to find a high value man? What do you mean by that? Like, all I want is a good guy that takes care of me. But there's plenty of good guys out there. What do you mean by take care of you? I don't know, like make me feel safe, take away my stress, take charge for once. Oh, I get it. So a man you could submit to. Ew, what? A man who's bigger and stronger than you? Yeah. A man who can financially support the two of you? Preferably. A man who takes the lead on things? Sure. Right, a man superior to you. Ugh, why are you saying it like that? Like what? Superior, submit, like all these words are disgusting. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that men are superior to me. And I'm a strong woman. I don't submit to anyone. But you want to, huh? How can a man lead if you don't want to submit to that lead? How can a man make you feel safe if he isn't physically superior to you? How can a man support you financially and take away your stress if you don't allow him to? You say that you want all of these things, but the moment a man with those qualities comes around, you feel your independence slipping away and you panic. So how about you submit for once and let one of those good men give you what you want? I'll never submit, and you'll never find a man.
Very accurate. She's making fun of it, but she is correct. This is the problem that women are having today, is they want the traditional man, but they will not be the traditional woman. And when a man says, a man of my caliber wants a traditional woman, they get angry. They get frustrated. This is why I think, like, you look at someone like Henry Cavill, right? Henry, and I use him quite often, but he's a good-looking guy. He's popular. Everybody knows who he is. He's at 32 years old, and he decides to date a 19-year-old model. And the women came out in droves screaming that they're angry about that. It's a 10-year gap. It's not that big. My parents had a 10-year gap. My grandparents had a 10-year gap. It's not, so for 100 years, 10-year gap is actually small if you go back far enough, right? And now they're angry about it. But Henry Cavill's athletic. He's good-looking. He's career-driven. He's intelligent. He's a gamer geek. He likes Warhammer 40K and video games. And he's dating a model. Why are they angry? Because she's 19. Because she's a model. She got Henry. The 30-year-old women that are angry with him got overlooked. He didn't choose someone his own age. And that freaks a lot of women out. because they realize, oh, I'd like a guy like that. Why would he go with a young model? I'm pretty, I'm successful, I have my own house and my own car. And they go down this list of things that men don't care about because they're very intimidated by that. This is a great example that the men that they really want will never, ever select them because they're not the type of woman that he wants to be with. Something else, this women of generation are the hardest to work with as bosses and coworkers. Oftentimes they're described as overusing their power and being very vindictive if you cross them. And ironically, they're worse. These female bosses are worse with the women than they are with the men. So let's start here, right? College educated women and black women are more likely to out-earn their husbands. So now, again, they're more likely to out-earn their husbands. They've surpassed them when it comes to income. Now, this actually is more in relation to not needing men as providers. So I may have gotten this out of order a little bit. But it's a good example that women are now out-earning men, but they still want the man that they choose and select to be the one that makes more money and provides for them when it comes to marriage and relationships. So women want to make more money than men and be more powerful than men until they get in a relationship. Then they want the man to have more money and be more powerful, even if they don't want him to be more powerful. They want him to have more money. So if 60% of women, or let's even say 50% of women, 50% of men, that, the income's relatively the same. Half of women out-earn half of men, vice versa, okay? So it's about, we'll say the income disparity is about the same. Then that means 50% of men are invisible to half of the women. They don't even look at them. And then when you've got all these women that are sharing the same percentages of men that make more than them, well, the more that there are successful women means there's less successful men in comparison, which means 60% of women are now looking at 40% of men, or in some cases, 60% of women are really chasing after the top 10 to 20% of men. There's not enough men to go around. That's why women are giving up on relationships in many cases, because they can't find the man for their forever man, so they just decide to get a bunch of jabs like these women do so they look good, and then, just have fun with guys. Another great example, and this has to do with the income and the traditional. I'll just play this very quickly.
My last relationship, we broke up because he asked me to marry him, but then he asked me to sign a prenuptial agreement, and I said absolutely not. I think that's bogus. I'm not going to sign a piece of paper that says that if you leave me, I get nothing. No, I think that I should have half of everything that you've worked your entire life for.
I think I should get half of everything you worked your entire life for. And then the last part, she says, that's fair. And the man asked her to marry. The man asked her to marry. He said, I want you to be my wife. Now, he's stupid. He should have known this about her for quite a while. But he said, you know what? Hey, you're just not. And was the prenup you leave with absolutely nothing? Very doubtful. Maybe. And this is an argument that a lot of guys will have, is say, hey, you know what? These hang in there in California for 3 years or 5 years till you can get a payout and bounce is way too popular. And I'm not giving up. I mean, a man that works and makes $100 million, if he decides to give you a lifestyle that is good and easy and you can go down to, Beverly Hills and shop and buy $40,000 purses or whatever else, the arrangement is he's going to give you the lavish lifestyle while you're with him. That is part of the reason to stay with him. You stay beautiful and young and give him access to the bedroom. And the deal for that is I will give you the money to live a comfortable lifestyle. But women along the line decided, well, I don't want that. I just want the money and the lifestyle. I don't want the man. That's not how any of this works. But if you go to enough, lawyers in California, they'll tell you that's not the fact. They want traditional, but then they yell and scream against traditional. Anyway, the point about the generation of women is the hardest to work for. This is from Forbes, and this is dating back it is more than a decade, 12 years ago. So this isn't a new thing. This isn't like Boss B all of a sudden decided. They say women can be nastier bullies than men at the workplace. What's the best way to deal? A woman says, I didn't expect bullying to be so prevalent in the workplace. Adults are facing it pretty tough with women on women fights, basically, on the rise. 35% of Americans reported being bullied at work, according to a 2010 survey. Women make much nastier office bullies than men, said psychologist Dr. Gary Nami, co-founder of the Institute. They say workplace bullying is 4 times more common than men harassing women and race discrimination. They found the same. They found that in the same study. Girls are taught to be critical about each other from adolescence, and it's particularly vicious among working women, from playing favorites to bad-mouthing colleagues. Common careers where women face this issue: law, finance, or any other job where women feel the need to be hyper-aggressive to get ahead in a male-dominated environment. Well, now those male-dominated environments, here we are 14 years later, and those male-dominated environments are slowly going away. And that's for bosses and coworkers. Because, this one here, they're the worst kind of work bullies. That's not being the boss. That's just working with women. What about women being bosses? Well, this is from Elizabetta Gali, a woman, published just, this is still 9 years ago. When women are bad bosses, are they the worst? She says, nonetheless, being a person who loves pondering over problems, I could not help but thinking about this topic. To find a decent way out of the gender-biased nonsense, I realized the scientific method may be appropriate. She said, let's put down some facts. A recent survey of 5,000 British workers indicated that 45% of female bosses could be classified as bullies, and 71% of the people that they bullied were women. It's been observed that women in senior positions may alienate other women. Women are oftentimes trapped in the tough task of forcing themselves to be unemotional to gain the respect of male colleagues while remaining likable. But the results are not being perceived as genuine. I think the difference is because when a man says, hey, we've got a guideline to meet, guys, this is what we need to get done. Here's our time frame to do it. So let's get to it. Women are not able to pull off the emotionless thing very well because men are naturally more object oriented. Women are naturally more social, more emotional oriented. Guys can pretty naturally say, hey, this is the math of the situation. Women can't, so they have to pretend to be emotionless, and that's perceived as not being genuine. Another recent survey conducted in the UK has revealed that a third of women would rather have a male boss to a female one. The reason for that is men seem to be more predictable than women. So when you step back and look at everything, women are overweight, they don't dress up, they don't put on makeup, they're entitled, they're gross, i.e. see Miss Thing over here spitting at the camera on her own dash and saying she's going to fart on it like a child, right? They have bad attitudes toward men, they're unappreciative, they use men, they're entitled. They don't look at men as providers, but they still want men to be providers. They want a traditional man, but they don't want to be traditional women. They're hard to work with. They're argumentative. They fight all the time. They want to argue over who has control of the relationship and the household and the finances. And no man wants to have like an alpha battle every time he comes home with a woman. I want my woman to be peaceful and sweet and kind and helpful and supportive. I don't want to have to try to wrestle control of the relationship and the household and the finance and the decisions and all the things and have this battle every time it comes to something. It's tiring. And a lot of guys feel that exhaustion is a reason why women are so hard to date. From another study, and this is the next point, is about those traditional women. They don't cook. They don't take care of the households anymore. I didn't look this up, but I can't tell you how many photos or videos you see of women on social media where their house is trashed. Just crap all over the place. Guys, if you've ever been in a relationship or you've been married or you are married, you know you can go in the bathroom. You'll have like your shaving gel and maybe a razor A bar of soap and a washcloth. That's pretty much what guys need. Maybe a bottle of shampoo and conditioner, like 5 things. Look at the woman's side. There's curling irons and flat irons, and there's shaving and the perfumes and the 17 different this and 14 different that. Women are just messy. Guys aren't. So men usually keep a neater home than women do. And on top of that now, women don't cook. From the Daily Mail. What's cooking good looking? Nothing. Women who admit they can't boil an egg. And once again, I pulled this up, I'm specifically pulling up these old articles. This is from 13 years ago. We're going back over a decade, and women weren't cooking then. Is it getting better or worse now? It's worse. They said women who admit they can't boil an egg, 1 in 6 British women struggle to crack the art of cooking, a survey revealed. More than half said their husband is a better cook. So the guy's got to be the traditional earner. He's got to be the traditional man, but he also has to come home and clean and fix the car and take care of the yard and take out the trash and cook. I'm not saying that women aren't pulling their fair share. That's not what I'm saying. But women are always complaining because they say, well, men don't take care of enough of sharing the chores. I don't remember too many women fighting and arguing over who gets to mow the lawn. That's a man's chore. Who fixes the flat tire or takes care of the vehicle? That's the man. Yard work, man. Roof, man. Paint on the exterior or outside, usually the man. So then when it's like, well, the interior stuff, then you should take the majority over. Nope, you got to do half that too. And then, so guys finally say, okay, we'll take half of that as well. And then women say, never mind. More than half said their husband is a better cook. The poll of 2,000 men and women commissioned by the Good Food Channel found that typical female can only cook 7 dishes from scratch. More than 1 in 5 women struggles with basic curry. 1 in 6 can't bake a cake. 1 in 10 has never cooked a roast. 1 in 20 even messes up boiling an egg or preparing a cooked breakfast. Here's what it takes to boil an egg. Turn on water, boil it, drop said egg in water. Usually, wait, depending on how you like your egg, anywhere between 3, 4, and up to 11 minutes. Turn off the heat, take the egg out, let it cool, done. That's literally just water and 1 egg and heat, and they can't get that right. From the Washington Post, and this is as of 8 years ago. Why so many men are cooking? Today, at-home chefs are more likely to cook with an iPhone instead of a recipe book. They're more likely to draw their inspirations from a Facebook video. One big change, they're more likely to be men. A higher proportion of American men, 43%, are cooking these days than at any point in the last 30 years. Meanwhile, they're spending more time than ever before, 49 minutes a day doing so. Those are up from 38% and 40 minutes 2 decades ago. By contrast, 70% of women cook these days, a bump from the 67% that cooked 2 decades ago. So they say more women are cooking and more men are cooking. Well, how can that both be possible at once? Because the women are single and so are the men, and they're cooking for themselves. And you can say, well, that's a good thing. Like, it's great that more men are cooking. But again, go back to the other one. Most women, more than half, say their husband is the better cook. How is that traditional in any way, shape, or form? My father knew how to make, let's see, what could my father make? My father would regularly cook himself a hamburger. That's it. And he'd put cheese on it and make a cheeseburger. That was my father's go-to meal when my mother wasn't around to cook, or he ordered a pizza, like from Pizza Hut or something or other. He did not know anything about cooking. My mother would make Thanksgiving dinners and bake chocolate cakes and make all these amazing recipes. And very rarely did she have to go open her little cookbook. And she had a file card system where when she, from my grandmother, her mother, that passed it to her, that actually I have now in a cupboard. Because my sister didn't want it, I did. Because I wanted to be able to cook the meals the same way my mom made them for me. So ironically, I am the cook. That was the way it's been for generations. So women want their traditional men, but they're not traditional still. How is this a benefit to men? This generation of women are offering less and less and less, but expecting more and more and more from the men. And now, generation of women were taught to hate, literally hate men, and especially conservative men. Women are drifting more left-leaning and men more right-leaning because of the feminism and the rest of the stuff. They say this is why dating is so rough right now. A global political divide is emerging between young men and women, and to be honest, that explains a lot. They say if you're feeling like dating has really been the bad place right now, you're not alone. Research is here to back you up. New research suggests that a global ideological divide is forming, where young women are more progressive and young men are more conservative. How is this possible, you might ask? More women are getting into feminism and more men are pushing back against it, because it's not just yay women, because women are ahead. 60% of college graduates of upper degrees are women, 40% of men. Women are winning the battle on the college front. Do you hear any movements to help men catch up? No. You look at this graph here, and it's very small for you, but men are trending much more conservative, and women are much more liberal. The only place in the UK, plus 20 points for liberalism for men, plus 50 points for women. So even women are outracing men in the UK to the left. Germany, men are trending more conservative. The US, men are trending more conservative. And South Korea, men are trending way, way more conservative. But in all cases, women are moving left. The left includes girl power, no kids, no marriage, women making money. And men are moving to the point of, okay, well, good for you, but I want a traditional woman. And the two are not meeting. And so now you've got this huge political divide. And men are not going, this is something I think that strong men, weak men might give up their belief system and they might give up their values to get a woman. Weak men will do that. Strong men will not. If a strong man is asked to change to get his dream woman, a guy might say, well, I'll be nice and I'll do a couple things for her, but I still got my goals, my path, my things that I'm working on. I'm not going to change my life. Weak men will. Weak men, traditionally left. And if that for some reason upsets you, which ones right now are all in on the government? Which ones are right in now for all the LGHD TV movement? Which ones right now are yay girl power? That's not holding strong. That's giving up your position. That's bending to the will of the left and of feminism and weakening men and not strengthening it. A stoic, strong man will not say things he doesn't believe are real. And a lot of men don't believe that men are women and women are men. But there's a lot of weak men that will, because they want to gain favor and curry up to women. And that's not helping. So everybody's drifting apart. They say, historically, young people have mostly been spread roughly equal between liberal and conservative views, but now research is pointing to a departure from the trend, and the U.S. Gallup data shows that women aged 18 to 30 are 30 percentage points more liberal than their male counterparts, with a gap opening in the past 6 years. What's happened in the last 6 years? Social media, putting this stuff online. So that is a drift. Men do not want a headstrong, most men, strong men, conservative men, do not want a headstrong liberal woman that's going to tell them what to do. We'll continue on. Women now have an infatuation with the bad boys. Now, they have for a long time, but now women are just coming right out and saying it. They say, why do women go for bad boys? Now, this is an old trope. I'm just lightly touching on this because if you've watched my channel more than 15 minutes, we've kind of beaten this like a dead horse. Some people who experience guilt are attracted to those who do not display guilt or shame. A psychopath's lack of moral compass may make them dangerous partners, business colleagues, and political leaders. Guilt-prone people feel trapped, though they hope to learn to be less guilt and shame-prone. And people need to get help for this stuff, basically, is what they're saying. These people are oftentimes in politics. They're actors. They're very alluring. They don't seem to really care what you think. They just live in their own world, and they want you to be a part of it. And more women are going for this. And there is science behind it. And the longer that it goes, the more women that do not have a strong male figure in the household, because about 50% of young people today are raised without a father, you get these women that have daddy issues and are kind of weird, and they end up dating men that are much older because they're stable and they're stoic and they can't be persuaded and they have their own path in life, and women find that attractive. And a lot of times women chase after these guys that are kind of, narcissistic and self-entitled and love themselves. These are the same women that these are the same men that break those women's hearts over and over until women say, men suck. I don't want to ever talk to men, and men are awful, and then they get their cats. Right now, women are cheating and lying more than any other generation. From the New York Post, power trip, why more women than ever are cheating on their husbands. And this is from last year. I may have even done a video on this. I don't know. I don't remember. They say that it's empowering. It's exciting. It's that the butterflies. They need it. They need that chase. They need that adrenaline. They need that dopamine dump. And it's being praised by the media. It's being praised by social media. I don't know where and how I'm going to cut in all the videos I have, because I have tons of them. But because of social media and because of the likes and the yes, girl, you get it, and go slay queen, they're getting more attention than ever. And so they're sharing these horrible stories more than ever. This is on a podcast. And they're just coming right out and saying, like, I am a horrible person, but also I'm still going to do it.
I swear to God, I would have boyfriends and never post them once. Like, I was like, I will hide you till the day I die, because I didn't want to share that I had a boyfriend, because I wanted to still see if there was other options out there for me. I know this is toxic and horrible to say. Everyone, keep on moving on.
Ha ha ha. I'm a horrible and toxic person. Yeah, I'm still going to do it, though. She didn't want to share that she had a boyfriend on social media, so she keeps her options open. And women will do this. They brag about it. I'm keeping my options open. He's great, but I'm still keeping my options open. I'm married, but I'm still keeping my options open. I'm married with kids, but I'm still keeping my options open. It's the drive and the need for always more, something better. And it is very detrimental to the men in their lives, because at no point can you rest in many of these relationships. At no point can you rest thinking, I'm in a relationship. I got a girlfriend, we're going to fall in love, and then someday we'll get married and have a family. When women are willing to pull the rug out from underneath a guy any moment because of hypergamy and they can move on to something new, no man can relax in a relationship. And because of this, after a guy gets burned once, twice, 3 times, a la half of 3/4, 90% of Hollywood, what is it, 50, 60% of men, where women file 80% of the time. A man can never rest on his laurels. And then women say, well, I got bored. You need to entertain me. We need to keep things fresh and exciting. A man cannot do that forever. You can only work your way up to the best restaurant in town. You can only work your way to the most amazing vacation in the world. You can only work your way up so many times. And then once she's got you figured out, and once she understands how you think and what makes you tick, and you're not a mystery anymore, she's bored. And then they move on, and on, and on, until they run out of options. Here's another one I got for you. This is a Swedish woman.
I have one friend who's seeing maybe 4 guys right now.
The one thing I don't like about Swedish girls, hey, I know this for a fact, that you could be dating a Swedish girl and she could have 10 guys on rotation.
I agree that it's okay to do that.
Now let me pause and just say this. Number one, she's got a tattoo on the inside of her arm here. This woman, it looks to be a professional, like she works in a professional career, or at least she's dressed very nicely. But she does look to be upper 30s, I would say. Maybe even young 40s. Just based on, looks like the number of fillings she has, based on her skin, based on the outfit she's wearing. If women are like this in their late 30s and 40s, even in Sweden, which, again, you can say, well, it's different in this country and that country. Yes, but this is a general growing trend. She can have a boyfriend, and She says she has friends with 4 on rotation. He says, I know some women that have 10. And then she says, I agree with that. It's a minute-long 15 clip. I don't even have to play the whole thing. You get the idea. They will argue it out. And she says, well, if I'm sleeping with a guy, I don't sleep with the other men, but I still go on the dates. What's the point then to the other men? I'll play that part and then we'll discuss that too.
Depending on like the circumstances and stuff like that as well. If I'm dating you and I've slept with you, I might still date other guys, but I wouldn't sleep with other guys. If that makes sense.
You wouldn't?
No.
But what's the point of dating her?
Because we're not.
But if you were dating other guys, you wouldn't sleep with them.
If I've slept with someone, then it's. It could happen.
It could.
So now she's going back on her own rules. If I'm sleeping with you, I'm not sleeping with another guy, even though I may be dating other men. He said, so you won't? Well, it could happen. What are we doing then? What do we do? You just contradicted what you said 10 seconds ago. See, the truth is, if the other guy's attractive enough or he sparks the butterflies enough, and it's been, a week or so since she was with the guy she slept with, well, oopsie.
Could happen. It could happen.
Right.
It depends how often we're seeing each other, I would say.
What about once a week?
If we see each other once a week, then I'm not going to be sleeping with someone else. Seeing like once every 2 weeks.
1 week more.
Yes, one week more. Then maybe.
Maybe.
Not sleep with someone else, but date someone else.
When you talk to girlfriends, is dating multiple guys at once, right?
Yeah. They maybe might do a bit more than what I do.
So they might do more than she does. At what age are you safe? Oh, well, this woman looks to be 30s or 40s. No, she's still going to date other men. What are the other men getting out of it? Let's say that this woman, the blonde here, sleeps with the Asian dude. They go out on a date. She sleeps with him. And then you've got a date with her later in the week. But you're definitely not going to sleep with her because she's sleeping with some other guy. But you don't know that. So you take her out to a fancy dinner in a restaurant because, she looks nice. She's a little bit older, a little bit more mature woman. You want to take her to a nice fancy restaurant. You think she's attractive. She's beautiful. You'd like to get to know her. And in her head, she's like, well, I'm sleeping with some other dude, so I'm not going to sleep with this guy. Don't you kind of feel used at that point? Like, well, are you just using me for dinners and conversation because you're bored? What am I getting out of it? Yeah, I'm getting dinner and conversation, but let's be honest. Guys date because they want to, they want to get in there, right? Have a little bit of fun as well. And maybe they're attracted to her. What if a guy goes on a couple dates with her and is starting to actually feel attracted to her? That's out of the equation for her because she's sleeping with the other guy. But what if the new guy he takes her out several times and she says, wow, he's really great. I'm attracted to him. And she sleeps with that guy. Does he know that maybe she slept with this other guy a day or two ago? Does the guy that she slept with know she's out on another date and getting ready to sleep with this guy? And before you know it, you have like community soup that is this woman. Guys, and because this is going on the internet, and women used to have to go to websites like Ashley Madison and be discreet and hide it. That was, I don't know what, a decade ago? Now women are like, I want an open relationship. I'm going to sleep with other people. And if you don't like it, I'm going to leave you and take half your crap. Like the gates have been flung wide open and women just show no shame. They probably are always been like this to some degree, but now there's no shame to it. And now they're proud of it. And now they're just out. And guys are seeing this probably for the first time. And there's a lot of men that maybe were raised from a traditional family that said, hey, meet a great girl and date her and marry her and you'll have a traditional life. That's what their father maybe taught them or their grandfather or whatever. And now they're coming out there and like, hell no, I'm not going to do this. And the ones that do, like this woman said, hey, he proposed to me, but he wanted the prenup. And she's like, hell no, I want half your crap. Like they're not even hiding it anymore. This from NBC News. These women aren't looking for a man in finance, but wouldn't mind their date grabbing the bill. This is from there was a TikTok video that said it went around going, I'm looking for a man in finance, 6'2", something or other. I don't remember what they said. I'm not even going to read this because, right here. I'm looking for a man in finance with a trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. the lyrics go. So it's not just enough that you make a good job. And this went viral because this is what women were repeating, saying that they wanted. So now you have to be in finance, 5%er, with a trust fund, top 1.1%er, 65.1%, and blue eyes. This, and while I'm not going to read this article, this all goes down through. Women are becoming more and more like, I want a man that's going to give me, he's going to be beautiful, good looking, and I want to sleep with him. Or I want him to be overwhelmingly rich and successful so he can give me a lavish lifestyle. But those two men aren't necessarily the same ones. And that's the point that's thrown all of this off for everybody. Because we all know women would marry the rich, tall, good-looking, handsome doctor. We all know women would sleep with good-looking men. But now women are saying, if I can't find it in one, I won't settle for either guy. I'm not going to settle for a man that can't give me a lavish lifestyle, but he's super hot. I desire him and I want to sleep with him, but I don't want to marry him. He can't give me anything. And then the other half is, well, he's a doctor and he's super successful and my kids and I will have a lavish lifestyle, but he's not super hot. Like, I don't desire him. I need both. This doesn't exist. But this generation of women from the ages of 18 through 50, this is their expectations. And I have two things here I'll finish it up with. Again, I'm not going to read the whole things because we're going a little long, but you guys are getting the theme here. This is from a Madeline A. Figuer, PhD, Why Emotional Intelligence is in Decline. Now, we can say there's real IQ intelligence. And emotional intelligence, which is EQ, I'm not really into that stuff, but there is something that is important about it. And that she says here, emotional intelligence consists of 4 factors: well-being, self-control, emotionality, and sociability. And they say the 3 facets of emotional intelligence have declined: well-being, self-control, and emotionality. But sociability is on the climb. What's happening? Women are on social media. Women are sharing their lives. Women are interacting with everybody, right? And you know, I have seen TikTok videos. I have seen the Instagram stuff of men on there. And you know what I find? A lot of those guys are not exactly straight. They have a little bit of that lisp and they're, check out my wonderful stuff, guys. That's a lot of the men on social media that are putting out videos and being crazy. It's not the stoic, strong men that are working with their hands that have things to do. So they're saying well-being is falling off. That correlates with everything I've been talking about. Self-control, that's off. That's been relating to everything I've been talking about. Emotionality and having healthy emotions, that's fallen off a cliff like everything else we've been talking about. It's all in decline except for sociability. And that's because everybody's sharing just how stupid they are on the internet. And so women are not thinking logically right now. And I'm going to very lightly dust on politics because I don't want to get into the politics. But right now, the left is screaming with emotion. We need to do this and rights for these people and all the things that make you feel good and make you angry and get frustrated, and that's why you need to vote for us. And the other side saying, hey, things are broken. We're going to run out of money. We're going to run out of places to live. Food prices are going to get unaffordable. They're not trying to push buttons on emotions. They're trying to say things are falling apart, by the way. And then when you look at the polls, the people that are angry about everything and also think that life is unfair and they deserve everything and that they're being treated poorly and the system just needs to give and give and give are about the same number of people that are saying everything's broken and we're going to fall apart and everything will financially collapse. And are you ready for it? Those two things are equal. That's not good. It's because people are not thinking with their head, they're thinking with their hearts. And right now, women are not thinking with their heads. They're thinking with their hearts and the nether regions. They're not being rational about things. And as men see this, it is freaking them out. And they're deciding this isn't such a great idea. And I'll sum it all up. This is a story. I didn't want to do a standalone video on this. I'm just going to read even just the headline. Women stole money from her boyfriend's bank account for a Beyonce concert when he had the money saved for his child's heart surgery. And down here, she had a quote. And this quote, basically, when I read it, was like, oh, that's women today. Let me see if I can find it. When he confronted her, the man was highly upset because she knew he had his money saved up for the child's heart operation. Clearly, the woman knew this, and she told him she didn't care. In addition, she countered his argument, saying he knew how badly she wanted Beyonce concert tickets, so because the man didn't get them, she stole the heart operation money. This is thinking with emotion. I want these tickets. Okay, yeah, but this money is for my daughter's heart surgery. Okay, but I want Beyonce tickets. Well, I understand that, but I don't have the money for it. Right now I'm saving for my child's heart surgery. Okay, but I'm going to take the money. I took the money. I went to the concert. I need that money for my child. I don't care. It was Beyonce tickets. If that doesn't sum up how so many people, granted some young men do too, but the vast majority of women are today. I don't care. I want it. I don't want to work. And this is going back up to this original article, The Wasted Generation. They boast about quiet quitting and bare minimum Mondays. I know I haven't had any experience in the work world, and I'm new to this job. I want more money. Okay, well, you have to earn it. You have to participate. You have to show you're a valued member of the team. Yeah, okay, but I want more money. Okay, well, give it time. And, well, I'm just going to work less then. I'm not going to do as much. Okay, well, then you're not going to get more money and you'll probably get laid off. Well, that's not fair. You need to give me you know what it reminds me of? Idiocracy. It reminds me of Idiocracy. Idiocracy is now a documentary. It didn't take us 500 years to get there. It took us about 5, maybe 10. With the advent of the iPhone and social media and Facebook and all the rest of us. And we're here. How bad things get, how quickly they get is very evident if you look at, the riots in France and all the other things that are going on where people are sharing stories and they're basing their lives and everything off of feelings. There is no more logic to anything. There is no more reason. There is no more sanity. And because of that, I think a lot of men who do not think with their hearts, but rather think with their heads and try to find their way through the world today, realize that many of these women are a bad gamble. They're a high risk, low reward opportunity. And in many cases, that's why this generation of women is the worst for dating. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. If you're here on Rumble, if you're here on YouTube, make sure to join me on betterbachelor.locals.com. Movie night, Saturday nights. Become a supporter today. It's $5 a month. You help let me do the work that I love and continue to do what I do. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you for joining me today, and we will see you in the next one.